Let's do Prince Harry on his divorce rumors in SOT 16.
I Googled you, and there were people who are fascinated by everything you're doing all the time. They're fascinated by Megyn is in California right now, and you're here, and there's articles left and right about, why are you doing independent events? Why aren't you doing them together?
Because you invited me. You should have known.
This is true.
You should have known that was going to happen.
But do you know, is that normal for you? That the second there's an article that says she's in California, you're in New York, they say, well, what is happening with these two, right? So is that a good thing for you in a way that there's so much interest in you?
No, there's definitely not a good thing. Because apparently we've bought or moved house maybe 10, 12 times. We've apparently divorced maybe 10, 12 times as well. So everyone's just like, what? So yeah, it's hard to keep up with, but that's why you just sort of ignore it. The people I feel most sorry about are the trolls who their hopes are just built and built and built, and it's like yes, and then it doesn't happen. Right. So I feel sorry for them. Genuinely, I do.
Okay. It's not a good thing. All the attention on him and Megyn. They don't like it, Maureen.
I know, because how can one monetize oneself without attention?
Right.
Right.
How do you get the $100 million deal from Netflix?
How does Tyler Perry know where to send his private jet to come get you? I love this Us Weekly conversation at the New York Times DealBook Summit.
Right.
What is this entrepreneur of nothing? This guy who has never generated a dollar for his own benefit or edification. What does he know about making deals and making money? He's there because he's a celebrity, because we're all the trolls. We're all circling the body.
One of the biggest questions surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle isn't whether they're famous. That's beyond dispute. The real question is what they want to be known for in the long term. Are they activists? Media personalities? Philanthropists? Entrepreneurs? Former royals forging a new path? Years after leaving royal duties, that question remains surprisingly difficult to answer. And perhaps that's why discussions about the Sussexes continue to dominate headlines. People aren't just evaluating their latest appearance, they're trying to understand the larger strategy behind it all. Leaving the royal family created a unique opportunity for Harry and Meghan, but it also created a unique problem. Within the monarchy, roles are clearly defined. Outside of it, every public figure must create their own value proposition. For celebrities, entrepreneurs, and public personalities, success often depends on having a clear and consistent identity. Audiences need to understand what you represent. The Sussexes have explored multiple avenues over the years, from media production to philanthropy, public speaking, advocacy, and business ventures. The challenge is that diversification can sometimes create confusion. When people struggle to identify your core mission, they may begin questioning the purpose behind each new project. That's a branding challenge many high-profile figures face, not just Harry and Meghan. Entrepreneurship carries certain expectations. Traditionally, entrepreneurs are associated with building companies, creating products, developing innovations, or solving market problems. When public figures adopt the entrepreneurial label, audiences naturally evaluate them through that lens. This is why discussions about celebrity entrepreneurship can become contentious. Fame alone doesn't automatically translate into business credibility. Some celebrities successfully build enterprises that stand independently of their personal brand. Others find themselves criticized because audiences perceive the business identity as secondary to celebrity.
We all know the divorce is imminent. This is someone, I've said it before, there's not a rental car office she won't walk through to collect a meaningless award, to get her photo taken next to her husband, the Beta Royal. Things are not well in Montecito. Yeah. I'm just calling it now. It's on my card for 2025.
Oh, you say this is the year they divorce.
It's in my celebrity death pool, this marriage, for sure.
They're going the way of Bennifer.
Yes.
This is the year.
Yes.
You know, you're absolutely right. Why is he there other than because he's a super celebrity and Aaron Sorkin wanted to interview him and get pickup for it? And why did Harry show up? Andrew Ross Sorkin. I always screw them up. And why did he show up? If he hates attention, he can't stand the attention. It's bad that people are interested in his marriage and in him. But here I am, look at me. And then he did another little bit on how he's not settling his case against Rupert Murdoch on the phone hacking scandal because it's about accountability. It's about accountability because he really has a real issue with how he's been treated by the press and how his wife has been treated by the press. Meanwhile, they're famous because of the press, and the reason they got all their money is because of the press. And he and she have been using the press for decades, but when it doesn't quite suit them, he's going to be the champion to bring them down.
Also, watch their new Netflix documentary dropping next week on polo, a sport America cares little to nothing about at all.
Sure.
And Netflix was apparently very upset because they thought it was going to sort of be the Harry and Meghan reality show, and it's not. They made like Nacho Figueras. I don't ever say his last name right.
No, don't know him.
Of course you don't. Why would you? Nobody knows who this guy is. He's Harry's famous Argentinian polo player friend.
Oh, God.
And do you know how long it took David freaking Beckham to break through in the United States? It took him like 20 years to become like a major star.
Yeah.
He and Victoria sort of buddied up to Tom Cruise for a little while. And, finally they have like the name recognition they had in the UK. Nobody gives a shit about polo.
No.
But, they owe, and then next year is Megyn's, we have to make popcorn. Megyn's Netflix show about decorating.
Oh my
and
God.
Friendship and hostessing.
Status. The scrutiny Harry faces in this area reflects a broader public skepticism about how modern influence and business success intersect. One of the recurring themes in discussions about the Sussexes is what could be called the visibility paradox. Many public figures want to control how they're covered by the media, which is understandable. However, maintaining influence often requires visibility. Interviews, public appearances, conferences, documentaries, podcasts, and speaking engagements all depend on attracting public attention. The tension arises when public engagement and media criticism happen simultaneously. Critics argue that it's difficult to seek influence while rejecting scrutiny. Supporters counter that public figures should be able to participate in public life without being subjected to excessive or unfair coverage. This debate extends far beyond Harry and Meghan. It's one of the defining challenges of modern celebrity culture. An interesting aspect of celebrity culture is that absence can generate as much discussion as presence. When high-profile couples appear together frequently, audiences view it as normal. When appearances become less frequent, speculation begins almost immediately. What's fascinating is how little information is often needed for rumors to spread. A handful of appearances, or a lack thereof, can generate weeks of commentary. This reveals something important about public fascination with celebrity relationships. People don't just consume events, they consume narratives. And when information is limited, observers often fill in the blanks themselves. That dynamic has affected countless famous couples throughout history, not just the Sussexes. The relationship between celebrities and the press has always been complicated. On one hand, media exposure can create opportunities, influence, and commercial success. On the other hand, that same exposure can lead to invasive scrutiny and criticism. Harry's concerns about media treatment are rooted in experiences that have shaped much of
Really looking forward to that.
I can't wait.
That I will watch.
Cannot wait.
She's decided to appoint herself CEO of their Montecito lifestyle brand after a fruitless search to find someone able to meet her expectations, according to the Daily Mail. Shockingly, no one wants to work for her, Maureen.
She's like Kamala, and you've made this comparison more than once. In much the same way, when that drunk Kamala video leaked,
The best.
I my heart broke because I was off that week and I would have taken that thing apart like a piñata. But I thought to myself, she doesn't have a soul in her corner. Like nobody roots for her.
Yeah.
Everybody around her can't stand her because if there were one, they would have taken her by the scruff of the neck and said, no,
Yes.
we're not releasing this.
No, sister. We're going to wait until you sober up.
Exactly. And it's the same with Meghan Markle. She cannot find anyone to work for her because she chases everyone away
Yeah.
with her bullying and her temper tantrums and her 4 a.m. emails.
At some point, you're going to have to do it yourself, right? So many people don't want to work for you. You have no choice but to say, okay, I'll do it. But you know what? Ultimately, you can't run a business that way. So she's going to have to get a little nicer, or at least find people who don't read the paper and see all the reports about how she treats people.
His public life. At the same time, critics argue that repeatedly revisiting those grievances may prevent audiences from focusing on future goals and achievements. This creates a difficult balancing act. How do public figures acknowledge past challenges without allowing those challenges to define their entire public narrative? That's a question many celebrities struggle to answer. Perhaps the most significant issue facing Harry and Meghan today is not popularity, it's clarity. People generally know who they are. The challenge is whether audiences clearly understand what they stand for now. The most successful public figures often evolve over time while maintaining a consistent underlying identity. The Sussexes remain in a transitional phase where supporters see purpose and advocacy, while critics see inconsistency and mixed messaging. Until that gap narrows, much of the conversation surrounding Harry and Meghan focuses on daily headlines, interviews, and public appearances. But history rarely remembers people for isolated moments. It remembers the larger story. Years from now, the key question may not be how many interviews they gave or how many controversies they generated. The question may be whether they built something lasting that stands independently of their royal connections. That's the standard every public figure eventually faces. Do you think Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have successfully created a clear identity outside the royal family? Or do you believe the public still primarily views them through the lens of their royal past? Share your thoughts in the comments. The most revealing chapter of the Sussex story may still be ahead. Because eventually, every public figure reaches a point where attention alone is no longer enough. The spotlight fades, media cycles move on, and what remains is the legacy they've built. The question is whether Harry and Meghan are building a legacy that can stand on its own, or whether they'll remain permanently tied to the story they spent years trying to leave behind. And that may determine how history ultimately judges their post-royal journey. Subscribe for more analysis and commentary, because the next move from the Sussexes could tell us exactly which direction that story is heading.